not only this guy's properties, but there's lots of properties.
I know two of them.
Well, Victor knows about 100. And we're working on something that will benefit all those properties, or that will help clean up all those properties. But as of this particular individual, said food forth, we're trying to get something done to clean up his properties. So like, it's not that we're blind to it.
Yeah, well, you can be blind to it, that's just, I mean, I'm guessing.
That is, after the hospital, that's our number 2 concern.
Yeah.
Hospital being 1, this is number 2. Appearance of our town, our neighborhoods, you wouldn't want to live beside it. I know that because that happens all the time. We've got to address it head on.
Well, I'm just not doing that. I mean, if there's some kind of legal thing, I don't know if there's or not. If they go over there smoking in that building and it catches on fire, thank God none of them go killed or barbecued over there. But they're gonna do, I'm sitting there working in this house, spending money on it, and here I am, both sides surrounded by a dump, and people living in the trash. So if it catches on fire and burns my property up, is there any legal action I can take against them for losing my property? Or keeping the value of my property down? Legal costs, I don't mind going forward, I don't care.
Okay, we're trying to do something to require that that properties get inspected before they're rented.
But I know it's just, I'd hate for it to be beside my house.
Well, that's what we're working on.
That's
what we're working on.
I agree with you.
I wish y'all drive by there, look at, especially the VFW, people come into NRA and everything else out there all the time, and right across it, you got a,
I drove by the city property.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it up, Sherry.
Yeah, but that's, so we had an report last week, and we're trying to get something, some type of aid to get the properties cleaned up. We're trying to do that through municipal court. And then the council also has in front of it the proposal for occupancy permits that will require inspections of properties before they can get rented. So that's 2 things that are going on.
And that's relatively near term that the council's going to make,
We're looking at,
look at this.
the fire committee met tonight. They're gonna take the discussion up on the 28th. And then on the 28th, immediately after that, we will be meeting in work session.
Full speed ahead.
That's May 28th. Mr. Wayne, do you remember the times? I think 5 o'clock fire, and then 5:30. 5:30 is gonna be the work session for the council.
yes, one more question. If these properties are so bad, can the city not tear these properties down? You gotta get this guy permission to do it.
No, we have to have the money to do it. That's what, we had a hearing last week on how many properties?
5.
5. And 2 of the properties being donated tonight came from that are being donated. You have to have hearings, you have to do all types of searches, and you have to have hearings. And we had that Monday night on 5 properties that we are going to tear down. But then the city has to come up with the money to tear them down.
Well, I've offered this guy to purchase these 2 properties for him. He won't sell them. Plus he just sold the house right down the road, he told me. This is all from his hearsay from him to me.
Yeah.
He said he just sold the house, one of his out there.
I
He
understand.
won't sell the one he's got. He can't take care of them.
Can't make it well. I mean, but now, yeah, and we've torn down houses of his before, but again, a lot of times it's a question of having the money to do it. If you're gonna tear down a lot of houses, it takes $8,000 to $12,000 to tear down one.
I mean, if he's offered to couldn't he sell them or something? You don't want to sell them.
Well, how do you force them?
I don't know.
Force them to
I'm saying,
sell the
look,
property?
is there something that, that's what I'm asking y'all for, I don't know.
I mean,
If you don't clean them up, you need to do something with them.
We can't, as a city, force them to sell it. We can take the property away, we can tear it down, but we can't force it.
we can tear it down, but again, we have to go through that process and spend money. And for the, up until, and we did that on several properties, how many years ago?
The last ones we done were about 4 years ago.
Yeah, but then we ran out, didn't have any money, didn't have money left.
Right.
So now our financial situation is improving. we have money now, we have some money now to do it, and we had the hearings last week on tearing those down. So, I mean, we're doing something, but you can't just tell somebody, I don't like your property, you have to sell it. The government doesn't have that authority.
Are these properties on the list that we have? I think we had a list of about 50 properties.
Yes.
Yeah. So-
Yes.
And I think we're also going to explore some grant money to help
Yes,
with
200,000,
communities.
250,
Yeah.
250.
Yeah.
I agree with Mr. Crafton. This is a subject that bugs me, and I talked to Victor about all of that. We got an ordinance. You live next door, somebody wants to pile junk cars, everything in the yard. We got an ordinance that can't do that. So what do we, I mean, it never gets fixed. When I was trying to get votes, I went out in Hickory Village. There's containers sitting there in the front yard, and they said they've complained about it. And the city's got ordinance, you can't have containers sitting in. That yard out there looks worse than Wilson Junkyard. I mean, why you got ordinances if we're not enforcing them? Why does the fines not get more and more? I mean, I know I don't understand everything goes on, but I understand what he's saying. You're living in a junkyard. We shouldn't have to do that if we live in the city. I just don't understand it. If we got ordinances to protect us, then we should be enforcing them somewhat.
Most of our city, I'd say 40 to 50% of our city court docket is property maintenance issues where people are getting fined.
But how can somebody put a container in their front yard if it's against
I
city
don't know.
ordinance?
They should.
They shouldn't, but you gotta go through the proper.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and maybe they have been cited, I don't know.
But the $50 fine doesn't justify the, I mean,
Yeah, fines need to be increased, and as they come back in, if it happens again, fines do increase.
Well, you can see what happens in the city. I mean, why'd you guys build a house out there? Because you don't want to build a nice house and then have a derby car sitting next door. What everybody does, they just decide to move out of that part of the neighborhood and move to a better part. Well, then that ends up being rent houses. Well, guess what? It's just 10 times worse than it was before you moved.
Like a rotten apple.
Yeah.
You get a bad apple in the middle of a nice neighborhood, 10 years later, the neighborhood's.
Yeah. And that's one of, that's one of my pet peeves. I like things nice and neat. Anybody can drive by my house. I don't live in the best neighborhood in the world, but I guarantee my place is nice and neat. And I don't think it takes no lot of effort. And like Mr. Crafton trying to make the neighborhood better, and he has no resource to, he's trying to help the city, and he's needing help. I understand what he's saying.
And go along with what Mr. Young said, I think about 70% of our neighborhoods look like that. I know the neighborhood I lived in over there was a great neighborhood when I was a kid. Now it's trash.
Well, that was the purpose of the work session we had a week or so back. So, I mean, as the mayor said, that we know is a high priority right behind the hospital. We can,
And I will tell you, all them ain't rent houses. So a lot of these are houses that people own. I agree, this rent house thing, I think is a good thing. I really do. I think it's a good start. But I think we also gotta look at the people that own their houses that don't care no more than the landlords do.
But the biggest problem is rental houses.
No, I agree.
It's a place to start.
40% of the housing in town.
That's a pretty good solution, I think.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen and ladies. Mr. Crafton, to be real honest with you, I can't give you a straight answer at the moment. But I assure you, at least 40% of the houses we will be addressing in the very, very near future. Like, at least 40%. I know we can do that, and we can start there. But a house, no matter what shape it's in, it's somebody's property. And we, the government, can't come in without too long a process, I feel like, that's illegal, that keeps us out of trouble. We're talking 6 to 8 months. I think we've been talking about these 5 properties I introduced with the council very close to a year ago. And here we are just now getting to that point where we can do it. But we are taking property away when we do that. Although it might be junk, it's still somebody's property. So we've got to do it.
Mr. Crafton, On that property we're talking about, is there electricity to that property?
Nope. Not
I
even
thought
service part of
you
it.
could, I thought in city limits, you could not live in a house without electricity.
I couldn't tell you that, I don't know.
That is true.
So why are we allowing this?
I guarantee you go over right now, there'll be someone, well, I can guarantee it if I can get it.
We're not allowed.
That's fine with the court.
Lance, could you have your code enforcement office, have them take a look at that tomorrow, please? That's the question. If we have, someone living in a house that's not utility, they need to, I don't know, it'd be, I don't know what you do. But we'll see what we address that. Okay, all right, anybody else from the public? Ladies, y'all, you want to please come up to the podium?
I don't have a garage.
Oh, that's fine, that's good. We'll take them all.
But, me and my daughter-in-law are here, we own, Jack of All Trades / Demo Excavation, and we're out at Carew. And I was just here, I was gonna hand out some cards today, because we do demolition, and we are curious when the bid is gonna come up, to clean the city up. We did that for the city in 2019, and, you know, we're very interested in doing that again.
We'll definitely take your information.
Okay. Christine Shilan.
You got card,
This has my son's name on the front, I put mine on the back.
okay.
And then also, if we was to have a terrible storm tomorrow night, which we hope doesn't happen, you know, we would like to be with emergency management to help clean up the city or what would need to be done.
Okay, that would be with Lance. You can talk to him tomorrow.
That's kind of why we were here, just listening and getting some information.
Well, thank you for the
Thank
information.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I am gonna take one of these here.
That's all, just one agenda. It's just a big packet.
Oh, this whole thing here? Oh, take the whole thing. Well, didn't have a pen on that one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else here to speak to council? If not any, we'll, we will, yes, we need to adjourn, make a motion to go in, make a motion to close the meeting. Make a motion to go in closed meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Please, thank you. We have a second, and we need a roll call vote.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go to closed session, let's